Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, we are going to continue a topic from environmental management, that is environmental conservation and biodiversity. So what do we understand by environmental conservation? That is basically conserving the environment. And what do we understand by biodiversity? Bio means life and diversity means variety, right? So variety in living forms or life forms. So how they both are interdependent, today we are going to see that. Most harmful effect of the environmental pollution occurs on the living organisms. Our living world had been richly diverse, means it had varied organisms, right? It consisted of varieties of plants and animals. However, we are not able to see some specific animals about which we had listened from our earlier generations. So, who is responsible for this? Biodiversity is the richness of living organisms in nature due to presence of varieties of organisms, ecosystems and genetic variations within a species. This biodiversity occurs at three different levels. Let us see. Genetic diversity. Of course, occurrence of diversity among the organisms of same species means humans are same species, right? So whatever diversity occurs among human beings is called as genetic diversity. For example, each human being is different from other. Possibility of wiping out the species arises if there is decrease in the diversity within the species whose members involve in sexual reproduction, right? So if we are more diverse, there is more chances of us to survive for longer, correct? Otherwise the species would be wiped off if we become genetically identical, correct? So we are involved in sexual reproduction, that is why we should be having more diversity, and that is why marriages between sisters, brothers and cousins should be avoided, because that would lead to the formation of genetically similar or identical individuals. Moving on to the next type of diversity, that is species diversity. Innumerable species of organisms occur in the nature. This is called as species diversity. Species diversity includes various types of plants, animals and microbes. So these species are different, correct? So that is why it is called as species diversity. Moving on to the next, that is ecosystem diversity. Many ecosystems are present in each region. Ecosystem is formed through the interaction between plants, animals, their habitat and changes in the environment. Each ecosystem has its own characteristic animals, plants, microbes and abiotic factors. Ecosystems are also of two types. They are natural or artificial. So these are the three levels at which the diversity can occur. What are that? Genetics diversity, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. Now how can you conserve biodiversity? So firstly, we have to protect the rare species of organisms. Then we have to establish national parks and sanctuaries in which wild animals can be protected. Declaring some regions as bioreserves means you cannot potentially harm those regions, correct? Projects for conservation of special species. Conserving all plants and animals. Observing the rules means whatever acts are there, we have to make sure that they are implemented properly. Maintaining record of traditional knowledge, how our ancestors used to preserve that, how they have conserved it. So we also have to follow the same thing, right? These points are very important, you have to learn them properly. These are the list of this is the list of institutes working for environmental conservation. For example, International Union for Conservation of Nature. This is international organization, and here you have local, like national organizations. Correct? Now, what role can we play in the environment? Firstly, the most important thing is to conserve the available resources. Whatever you have, use it properly. Do not overuse something. For example, water. Then, next is to control whatever harm has been done. So, preventing the harm. For example, if you are releasing waste in the water, you have to stop doing that. Stopping the harmful activities. If factories are releasing the waste in the environment or in the river, they have to stop doing that, or there has to be some acts which are implemented. Correct? Or changing the mindset. We have to make people aware that how environment should be treated, because our life is dependent on the environment. Then production. Whatever factors have been harmed, they have to be revived. For example, if barren lands should be left as it is, so that they can ultimately grow into new forests, and already efforts are being made in that direction. Then awareness. You have to educate people, give guidance to them, make them aware of the harms which is caused by polluting the environment. Correct? If somebody is doing something very good, you have to imitate that. Form organizations for the protection of environment, participate in such programs. Then preventing. What you can prevent, possible harms can be prevented. You have to design new plans which would make sure that environment is least harmed by the activities which are going on. Then whatever factors are harmful to the environment, you have to prevent. For example, less usage of plastic or banning the plastic. Then preservation. Now whatever is done, whatever damage has been done, it is done already, but whatever is left with us, we have to preserve that. Also, we have to make sure that we do certain remedies so that it will prevent the further loss. And preserving unknown regions. Followed. Then hotspots of biodiversity. Let us see what are hotspots of biodiversity. 34 highly sensitive biodiversity spots are reported all over the world. Such areas had once occupied 15.7% area of the earth. At present, 86% of the sensitive areas are already destroyed. Presently, only 2.3% area of the earth has been left over with sensitive spots. It includes 1,50,000 plant species, which are 50% of the world count. As far as India is concerned, out of 135 species of animals, 85 species are found in the jungles of eastern region. About 1500 endemic plant species are found in the Western Ghat. Endemic means which is particularly found in those regions. Out of the total plant species in the entire world, 50,000 are endemic, means particular to a particular region, only found in that particular region. 3 endangered heritage places of the country. Now let us see. Endangered means they are at risk. Okay. The Western Ghat spread over the states of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Tamil Nadu and Kerala has been endangered due to mining industry and search for natural gas. Habitats of Asiatic lion and wild bison of this region have been under threat. Next, Manas sanctuary of the Assam is under threat due to dams and indiscriminate use of water. Tiger and rhino of that region are under threat. So these are all endangered heritage places of our own country. Sundarban sanctuary of West Bengal is reserved for tigers. However, the tiger population and overall local environment is seriously challenged by dams, deforestation, excessive fishing, trenches dug for same, etc. So that now these species like tigers, lions, bisons, rhino, they are endangered species and these places need to be conserved. These threatened species means which are at risk, okay, they can be classified into endangered species, rare species, vulnerable species and indeterminate species. Let us see. Lion-tailed monkey and lesser florican. These are the example of endangered species. Either the number of these organisms is declined, means reduced, or their habitat is shrunk to such an extent that they can be extinct in near future, means they do not have much place to live, okay, if conservative measures are not implemented. Please remember the examples correctly. Lion-tailed monkey and lesser florican. Next is rare species. Number of these organisms is considerably declined. Organisms of these species being endemic may become extinct very fast because they are endemic, they belong to a particular place. If that place is not conserved or preserved, they will be gone forever because they are not found anywhere else. For example, red panda and musk deer. Next, tiger and lion, they are under the category of vulnerable species because number of these organisms is extremely less and they are continuously declining. Already they are less and they are continuously declining. This decline in their number is a worrisome reason. Now moving on to the next, that is giant squirrel or shekru is one such example of indeterminate species. Now they appear to be endangered, but because of their behavioral habits, like they are very shy, so there is no definite and substantial information about such species. So we cannot determine whether they are extinct, endangered or what, right? And let us remember and let us behave accordingly, that destroying a plant is to destroy everything because our life depends upon plants. We cannot survive without them. Practice afforestation to conserve environment. You have to make sure that you are letting the land again regrow on its own to forests. Forest is wealth. Environmental protection is value education. Provident use of paper is prevention of deforestation. To practice the environmental protection is to develop the human society. Pure air, pure water is key to healthy life. Followed? Now, do you know that IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, prepares the red list that contains the names of endangered species from different countries. So whatever species are endangered, they will prepare a list and that list is called as red list. Pink pages of this book contains the names of endangered species, while green pages contain the names of previously endangered but now presently safe species. Also, 22nd of May is celebrated as World Biodiversity Day. I hope all the topics are clear to you. With this presentation, we end this particular chapter. I hope everything is clear to you. Thank you so much for watching the video.